these intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge...
Send Barron! Strap him to a J-Dam! Send Lindsey Graham! Send his children! How about that? The masses demand it. Baron Targaryen will be leading the vanguard. How about that? We will defend Israel unconditionally, sir. Make no mistake. France is exceptional here because France has actually stood in opposition to NATO in the past. Charles de Gaulle, that aircraft carrier named after Charles de Gaulle pulled out. France has its own nukes.
For the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most
Epic Fortnite Big Chungus,
most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now was...
This ugly son of a bitch even took the hat off to take it a little bit more seriously. What happened, bitch? What happened?
Announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes.
Epstein's fury.
Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands. And
ooh, yeah, I was wondering when this was going to come in. The IDF. Yep, I was shocked by why Israel was allowing footage of successful Iranian strikes on Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem to be mass released. They even had Israeli journalists. They even had Israeli journalists on scene covering it in English because they thought, I think, that they could garner sympathy. Now they realize nobody is sympathizing with them. So they're like, oh shit, we probably should not show how devastating the Iranian strikes are. IDF spokesperson finally reiterates and emphasizes not to publish or share locations or documentation of impacts. The enemy monitors these documentations in order to improve its strike capabilities.
Was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more.
That's crazy. He's literally saying, you're cannon fodder. Oh my God, there has to be a military mutiny at some point, right? Like people have to be like, what the fuck are we doing? That's crazy.
Before it ends, that's the way it is. We'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge this and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises armies to possess such weapons, would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "To America" or "To Israel" or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge...
Send Barrett! Strap him to a J-Dam! Send Lindsey Graham! Send his children! How about that? The masses demand it. Baron Targaryen will be leading the vanguard. How about that?
The Revolutionary Guard, the police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom.
This is, dude, here is the tactical misstep that America always engages in. And it might still come to fruition. I don't know how fucking hogged out the Iranian population is. Okay? But even amongst the people who hate the Ayatollah in Iran, they still fucking hate Israel. Okay? Like, this is not a situation where the guys are like, oh, dude, I hate the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah killed my family. The Ayatollah imprisoned my best friends for like making totally reasonable demands, all this shit. Okay, now bombs are flying overhead at the behest of Israel. Like, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to fucking happen? What about the monarchists? There isn't a robust monarchist movement inside of Iran. And even the monarchist movement inside of Iran thinks that maybe Reza Pahlavi comes back and then they have a secular liberal democracy, but they don't fuck with Israel regardless. My friend interacted with an Iranian woman in Beijing and she told him the Americans are bad. I agree with your analysis here 100%. I know that there are plenty of Iranians in Iran that don't like the Ayatollah. They don't like the Islamic Republic. Okay? I know. But they're also not fucking stupid. Okay? Like, their anger and hatred towards the Ayatollah stems from the fact that the Ayatollahs imprisoned their friends. The Islamic Republic has thrown them in prison, killed them, sometimes tortured them, right? Tortured their relatives. Okay. Now you have a more swift execution in the hands of the Amer-Israeli imperialists. Who would look at that situation and go, this is great, actually. I love dying. Actually, they did have someone on NPR earlier this morning who straight up said, if I die to American bombs, it's worth it. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to commit to as long as, the Ayatollah no longer remains. And to me, that is so poetically Shia, okay? You can be the most secular Iranian, but you cannot get the Shia mentality out of the Iranian soul, okay? You are Shia down to the fucking soul if you say some shit like that. Straight up. Like, You're like, oh, I'm a secular liberal. I want a democracy. And also, I'm perfectly willing to sacrifice myself for no fucking reason. That right there is the most, no disrespect, I'm not being sectarian at all, but that right there is the most, like, spiritually Shia thing you can say.
To seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Oh, what a time to be alive, folks. Do you think Iran would relent in its attacks if the USA Israel wanted to ceasefire for the Jewish holidays, or is it now too far gone? They have no trust in the USA word. For the Jewish holidays, brother, or sister, there is a very important Muslim holiday taking place, and Israel famously loves bombing Muslims during Ramadan, which is currently what's going on right now. It's Ramadan. I don't think oh my God, Kid Starver came out too for the Kid Diddler squad. Let's take a look at what he had to say. Oh, exceptional work. Top class, my good sir. Tell us what you will do, Kid Starver. Show us the way, chap. We are in unprecedented times, and we will go to war to defend Israel's sake.
In the Gulf, and explained that the United Kingdom was not involved in the strikes on Iran.
Cap.
That remains the case. Over the last 2 days, Iran has launched sustained attacks across the region at countries who did not attack them. They've hit airports and hotels where British citizens are staying. This is clearly a dangerous situation. We have at least 200,000 British citizens in the region, residents, families on holiday, and those in transit. I ask all our people in the region to please register your presence and follow Foreign Office travel advice. I know this is a deeply worrying time, and we will continue to do all we can to support you. Our armed forces, who are located across the region, are
pathetic. Maximum cucked. America's cucked by Israel because the American administration is like directly letting Israel do whatever the fuck it wants. And you're cucked by America that is cucked by Israel. You're double cucked. You're not even sitting in the cuck chair in the room. You're sitting in the cuck chair in the room next over, listening in from the wall about America's back walls getting fucking blown out. That's the situation. Have some decency, my good sir. Oh my fucking Lord, dude. You're getting cucked by proxy.
Are also being put at risk by Iran's actions. Yesterday, Iran hit a military base in Bahrain, narrowly missing British personnel. The death of the supreme leader will not stop Iran from launching these strikes. Their approach is becoming even more reckless.
Wait, hold up. The death of the Iranian leader hasn't stopped them. Wait, I thought it was over, right? I thought you killed the 86-year-old guy, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, magically, bad guy dead, right? Mission successful, mission accomplished. We throw out the banners. Did no one tell the IRGC that their leader is dead and they have to put their arms down now? Isn't that how that goes? I thought this severe escalation, this severe violation of all of the rules of warfare was for ultimately a good purpose, right? I thought America going in alongside Israel and executing a head of a sovereign nation was going to lead to prosperity. I'm so confused. What's going on? I thought it was going to be fine. And now Donald Trump is coming out and saying some of you are going to die for Israel and you're going to have to like it. I don't get it. I don't understand. Kind of feels like none of these leaders actually have our interests in mind at all and simply have the interests of one nation state in mind. And it's very strange to me.
and more dangerous to civilians. Our decision that the UK would not be involved with the strikes.
Yeah, all the NatSec guys are basically doing this. Guy who's been a NatSec analyst for 50 years. Well, Wolf, I would say that now we've captured Iran's king and we have checkmated Tehran. And it's actually cheating for them to keep playing. Straight up. They just keep, every NatSec guy is basically saying that over and over again on television. Every Democrat's like, I hate Donald Trump. But honestly, he did the world a service by assassinating the Ayatollah. It was so sick. The Ayatollah is ruthless. He's brutal. We love delivering democracy. Motherfucker, Trump is not even saying that. Like, Donald Trump is literally 3 minutes away from just coming out and being like, I love Israel. I love Israel is the only country I care about. There's no other country in the world that I care about other than Israel. And honestly, if you don't love Israel as much as I do, then you're a bad guy. You're an anti-Semite. You need to get in the coffin now. You need to die to a Shahed drone strike for Israel. And Democrats are still running around talking like there's some other alternative purpose here, that it's actually a good thing that this happened. The fuck are we doing? Do the parents of dead soldiers get a free Israeli citizenship as a treat? Fuck no. Fuck no. Also, who would want that right now? I mean, look at what's going on in Israel. Footage of an Israeli Air Force airstrike targeting an Iranian hostage installation in northern Tehran just a little while ago. Hitting hostage installations from the get-go, including the Israeli strike demolishing hostage headquarters, would seem aimed at fostering conditions for mass unrest, which is not necessarily the Venezuela-style transition some reports say Trump desires. Yeah. I don't know if this is like real footage or not, but it's very clear that they are not invested in regime change in Iran even. They want Libya. I need you to understand, they want Libya. But for Libya to take root inside of Iran, they need to mobilize on the ground resources. In Libya, they had Salafist brigades, okay? ISIS-style groups in Libya that were able to seize control or able to just like cause chaos on the ground. You know, murder civilians, murder members of the state, murder security forces. They don't have that in Iran right now. Part of the reason why they don't have that in Iran is because the IRGC, led by the Ayatollah, has been pretty fucking repressive and have jailed virtually anyone that has ever even thought about taking up arms against the state. This is not to say that it was the right thing to do, mind you, but in this very moment, they don't have popular mobilization. They have a lot of distrust in the government amongst the Iranian population, but they don't have the necessary resources for popular mobilization to cause chaos on the ground. That might change. Okay, that might change. But even in order to successfully facilitate a Libya-style situation in Iran, which, again, has much stronger institutions and a much stronger military and a much stronger contingency plan that was designed specifically around exactly what's happening right now happening to them, okay, that it is very clear, that their goal here is to functionally destroy all matter of the state apparatus and try to balkanize it to the best of their ability. But in the absence of popular forces, they have to send in popular forces into Iran. And that's probably going to be a mobilization of the Kurdish militias coming in from Iraq. That's what they're trying to do.
In a social media post Sunday, President Trump wrote this, quote, hopefully the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Is hope the plan for the future of Iran?
No.
No, the future of Iran is going to be determined by the Iranian people. The new Iran, whatever it is, whether it's a cleric or
what is this? Iran already purged the spies during the protests. I don't understand how they think they can revolt still happen, especially during Ramadan. You have 20% of the population with fervor and revenge against the West. No, it's way more than that. No, the Iranian population despises Israel and America. There is like a genuine popular support among the Iranian population is a lie. Okay. I don't know why people can't comprehend this. Iranians that fucking despise the IRGC also don't like the West. And I think these guys know that. I think some, at least in the administration, that are working directly as servants of Israel, like Lindsey Graham, understand that reality, which is why they just want to fucking destroy the country to the best of their ability, kill as many people as possible. Source, there have been numerous polls that have been conducted on Iranian approval and disapproval on Israel and the United States of America, not internally conducted by the Iranian government, mind you, before you fucking, before you make such an accusation, conducted by Western pollsters, okay? Conducted by the West. You're wrong, Hasan. Us Iranians love Israel and the U.S. Yeah, sure, Lion's legacy. Is the LA Iranians who keep pushing it, you know who? No, even amongst the diaspora Iranian population, by literal, even amongst the diaspora, the majority still don't approve of America and Israel, for the record. You just only hear, and obviously the percentages are much higher for support for U.S. and Israel in the diaspora population, but even amongst the diaspora, it's like almost 50-50, and the majority don't approve of Israel. We covered this earlier. Yeah, Iran poll, Chicago Council asked 2,007 Iranians what Iran should do if the U.S. attacks, and the majority said respond militarily. 30% said go to the UN. No majority for welcoming it. 86% of Iranians view the U.S. negatively, according to Iran poll 2019. And a NIAC YouGov poll in 2025 shows 53% of Iranian Americans don't even want foreign intervention. The problem is people only hear from fucking Patrick Bet-David and that kooky lady that goes on CNN to be like, oh, I was crying thinking about the beautiful strikes. That fucking the Rabbi Shmuley for the pro-interventionist movement in the diaspora. She is literally the female version of Rabbi Shmuley, by the way, for Iran. Just an incredibly unlikable person. People do not understand that. Like, there are plenty of people in everyone in the diaspora hates the Iranian government. Plenty of people in Iran don't like the Iranian government or hate the Iranian government. But you know what they fucking hate more than the Iranian government? America and Israel. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Reading that my people being killed by Ali Khamenei, but this is the first morning in my life that I get the good news and I want to run. I want to run. I want to run. I want to run. I want to just run. I want to just run and shout and shout and shout out of joy, out of joy, out of joy, out of joy.
Ali Khamenei is dead. Free Iran. Free Iran. He's dead. Ali Khamenei is dead. Thank you, God. Oh my God, I love America. Thank you. Ali Khamenei is dead. Ali Khamenei is dead. I love Iran. I love America. I want to tell everyone. Yes. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, America. I need to tell everyone.
Amazing. That's just Israel, man. That is so spiritually Israel. I'm sorry. That literally, there's something so severely broken with the pro-interventionist movement where they're so spiritually Israeli. Like, why can't you be normal? She's on CNN this morning. I know she's also like shitting on Zohran Mamdani too. CNN already had she was on CBS the day prior to CNN. Here.
That it is imperative the Democratic Party wake up and get past their dislike of Donald Trump, the President Trump, and their feelings of international conflicts going on. This is about national security. This is about what is possible in the Middle East. This is about being a good neighbor, good partner to the Gulf states and what their aspirations are. This is about supporting the people of Venezuela. This is about dismembering our relationship with, or not dismembering, but resetting our relationship with.
I think at the end of the day, it comes back to, do you think America is a force for good around the planet, or do you not? And I think more and more people, due to the deteriorating material conditions here in the United States of America and the contradictions that they experience, are coming to terms with the reality that no, we are not a force for good around the world. It was a much easier argument to make. It was a much easier argument to make if things were kind of all right here. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I get to eat jalapeno poppers at Applebee's. You know, I have a decent job. I mean, things seemingly are getting worse, but I can still pay rent. And honestly, the worse things get here in the United States, the harder that argument becomes the harder it is to sell that argument to the majority population. Okay. Like, I didn't arrive at this level of popularity over years and years of consistent advocacy against American imperialism. People came here because they were like, okay, everything that I've been told so far doesn't meet my reality. Like, it doesn't match my reality. Slowly but surely, you're seeing more and more people come to terms with that, where they're like, things that previously were considered impossible to broach, subject matter that was previously considered impossible to contend with, things that you could easily cast aside as, oh, you're just a campist, you're just anti-America, you just hate America, why don't you fucking leave America? Like, now people are recognizing we're not so crazy. They were not such strange statements to make. They're starting to recognize that, like, yeah, maybe the administration doesn't fucking do this kind of stuff for my interests at all. And perhaps they're doing it for some foreign nation state, Israel, or maybe they're doing it for Lockheed Martin. Maybe they're doing it for Boeing. Maybe they're doing it for the profit margins of you know, petrocapitalists, many of which are directly in the Epstein files, right? Like, that's it. Because no matter how hard I try, I'm one person. There are others like me as well that have had this position for a long time. But, like, our popularity doesn't grow because our popularity is not growing because people are I don't know, fucking coming to terms with this reality because they heard what I had to say and they were like, I love what you have to say, brother. No, they fucking came to terms with this reality on their own because they're seeing that their material conditions are awful. They're dog shit. Underrated sociopathic element of the U.S.-Israel violence is after they killed that bad guy, typically along with thousands of civilians. And for the record, I do want to say something, okay? There are still plenty of people out there that are looking for slop, that are looking for the same style of propaganda that you hear from Fox News and the same style of propaganda that you hear from CNN. Liberals are going to CNN and like liberal news outlets to hear kind words about, not just kind words necessarily, but like just nice things about why we have to do this. And the same goes for Fox News. And if you're an edgelord, for example, and you want to hear like a more independent voice, you go to like Asmongold, right? So there's still a market for this. There's still a market for this sedation. But the very fact that this impossible to broach third rail of American politics, American imperialism, is now reaching a broader audience implies that there is more salience in this message because people are coming to their own conclusions. The U.S. and its allies have wanted to destroy Iran for years now, and they just took the opportunity when it was its weakest as it has ever been. The Gulf states and mostly Israel are leading the agenda and have been lobbying for this for years, unequivocally been considering the good and bad, but it's much harder to defend the position than it's used to be. Yeah, your analysis is incorrect. That's not why people watch you. I know I, for one, came for the Hell's Kitchen and JCS Reacts. I stayed after I realized, wait, this hurry Turkish dude kind of do be spitting facts. Okay. Underrated sociopathic element of the U.S.-Israel violence is after they killed the bad guy, typically along with thousands of other civilians, they feed the inside story to baby bird NatSec reporters at the New York Times or Atlantic who do a glowing 0 dark 30 write-up about how sexy and slick it was. Hey man, why do you think they gave you, specifically you, this inside story? Is it because you're so adversarial to power? Or is it because you're a slack-jawed court stenographer without any concern for the moral context in which the cool, slick techno operation took place? Yeah, they did this with the 60-minute shit too, remember.
China right now, 55% of the oil production that Iran produces goes to China despite sanctions. You want to support the people of Ukraine? You want to end that war?
Not only is this analysis incorrect, why should I give a fuck about this? If I'm an American liberal, a well-educated American liberal, and I've seen the horrifying realities that Israel has unfolded, okay, that Israel has contributed to for the Gazans, for the Palestinian population, for the last 2.5 years, and now I'm seeing the American government go back into war for no fucking reason. I saw what this looked like with the global war on terror and its failures. Why the fuck am I supposed to think like, oh yeah, we got to cripple China? Of course. This is preaching to the converted. You are preaching to the converted. You're preaching to people who already have this kind of ambition. Many Americans, due to their deteriorating material conditions, do not have this kind of ambition. They haven't bought in to the notion that like we have to be at a constant state of war.
You have to, there is no getting around dismembering this Islamic Republic. It is non-negotiable. It is not a want to have, it is a have to have. And it's not just for the Iranian people. I think you have to trust the Iranian people. We know this government better than anyone else. When you dismember and decapitate this regime, you are going to see a change in the Middle East, in Venezuela, in China, in Ukraine. And I think, quite frankly, their ideology has really, it's caused a lot of problems for us worldwide. We need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat. I have been a huge Democrat.
But I love Donald Trump right now. I love what Donald Trump did.
Disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment.
Yeah. Iranian American Maj Mahdara, it's imperative that the Democrat Party wake up and get past their dislike of President Trump. You have to suck it up and you have to like it. Okay, here, I'll use an objectively reactionary approach to this. Why the fuck am I, a goddamn American citizen, supposed to foot the bill for your own ethnic interests? You're a goddamn immigrant in this country. Okay? Why the fuck am I supposed to foot that bill? Why? There is an argument to be made here for the most reactionary base as well, which is, why do I give a shit? Why are my tax dollars going to fight your war? Are you out of your fucking mind? I'm America first, baby. I voted for Donald Trump because I'm America first. And now you mean to tell me that this ethnic woman coming into my country is telling me that my sons and daughters need to go die for your regime change? Get the fuck out of here. How about you go fight on your own then? If you like it so much, I'll strap you to a JDAM and send you right there to Tehran. One-way ticket to Tehran, please. That's it. That's literally, the Republican argument is also very simple here. The Republican argument is very simple. The other side of the story, of course, for the Republican argument is, why the hell am I destabilizing another Middle Eastern oil-rich nation? I don't even see any of the dollars coming back to me. And then on top of that, we get a shit ton of migrants. We got a shit ton of migrants every time we do this. There's a refugee crisis. Why the fuck do I want that? That's the reactionary argument. You can make this argument to your Republican friends if you want to. Yeah, send Barron, send the Iranian diaspora to the front lines.
Really get it how and why some of the leaders of free world, they're really allergic to the term regime change. Stop being allergic to regime change, be allergic to dictatorship. This is 21st century. Believe me, getting rid of these barbaric regime and mullahs, the people of Iran can be better.
This lady is so awesome. She should get more coverage. I think this is going to turn into a Rabbi Shmuley situation very quickly. Okay? At least Patrick Bet-David is like, media trained and shit. But it's awesome. I love hearing from characters like this. When a new character comes around, I'm like, thank you. More of this, please. Certainly, the average American in Arkansas that's tuning into the fucking CNN broadcast for once to just see what's going on is going to hear what this lady has to say and go, you know what? I'm convinced. You know what? Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm sending all of my sons to war. Okay?
Better allies for America, for Europe, for the free world. So yes, the history will judge those leaders who could manage to end this regime, but they decide to actually, negotiate with this regime and support this barbaric regime instead of supporting the people of Iran. One person like Zoran Mamdani, if I have time. Zoran Mamdani's statement, it really broke my heart. It really did.
Just to bring people up to speed.
Oh yeah, Jake Tapper loves this, by the way. It is insane because she was fairly okay journalist in Iran. Not sure what happened to her brain when she moved to the U.S. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I'm not very familiar with her background. But let me tell you, what I've seen so far, excellent. Okay? Fucking excellent.
Mayor of New York, Mamdani condemned the attack on Iran, describing it as an illegal war of aggression. I saw you took to Twitter to take issue with them.
Yeah, because look, we American, we have freedom, dignity, safety, democracy, everything here. And if you don't like President Trump, you can take to the street and protest against him. You have judicial system here. You have media here. We don't have any of this in Iran. And how come?
Okay, why is that my problem? Why is that my problem? Sorry, I'm a hog now. I'm America first. Why is that my problem? Convince me how this is supposed to... Convince me how... Okay, but I'm back to being an NPR liberal, okay? I'm gay.
I'm gay and Lebanese.
Ma'am, I love standpoint epistemology, but what I'm failing to comprehend is how melting school children alongside the genocidal apartheid state is going to somehow lead to the positive liberal secular democracy that you think is going to come across, is going to magically happen in Iran. Why are you yelling at my favorite mayor, Zohran Mamdani? I don't understand. I'm kind of in agreement. I'm an NPR watcher. I'm kind of in agreement with Zohran. I like Zohran. He's got a lot of motion. He's very cool. He's charismatic. You, on the other hand, have failed to explain to me why I should like Donald Trump, Orange Man, who I hate, who is Orange Mussolini, Mango Mussolini. There is no, like, the reason why I'm doing this thought experiment is like, who the fuck is this for? Okay? Who is this for? Who is this supposed to convince?
Mayor Mamdani, that you lecture us, Iranians.
These people think we are in the 90s or early 2000s. The idea of being the world police has entirely fallen out of favor with Americans of both parties. It's not our job to make every country be like the U.S. This is for nobody, only the NASDAQ establishment. Exactly. You fucking nailed it. This is for the only people that are going to be coming on after her. Okay? People that work for a foundation for defending democracy, which is Benjamin Netanyahu's own personal /think tank. This is for the guys who write for The Atlantic, not even for the people who read The Atlantic, okay? This is for the guys who don't even write for Foreign Policy magazine, because even Foreign Policy has more diversity of opinion, okay? This is for a hand-selected, incredibly tiny number of people that go, thank God someone's out there speaking truth to power, and I'm getting paid $250,000 a year to also speak that exact same truth to power. It's not for the masses, okay? Because if you're a liberal and you read in, if you're a liberal and you hear Zohran Mamdani's take, that's very convincing. You're like, why the fuck are we doing this? I hate Orange Man. I love Zohran Mamdani. I agree with Zohran Mamdani. Why the fuck are we going to war again? Another regime change war? I don't like that. If you're a Republican, you're like, why is this crazy-haired Iranian lady telling me I must fight her ethnic war? You know what I mean? That's it. It's not convincing to the average person at all. It's convincing for a tiny group of people that have already been convinced, that are looking for anything that they can fucking lean into.
Who carry the wounds and scars of war on our body, the war being waged on us by the Iranian government. And now you lecture us about safety, security, peace, and war. You better when you kept out.
He's also got bad vibes. Fukuyama-ist, baby boomer drivel. Not all societies have to be the same. America is not Iran. Most Americans, especially elites in Washington, know shit about Iran. Yeah, that's the executive director of Amcon Mag, the American conservative magazine. Kurt Mills saying that, by the way. Okay? Like this right here doesn't read positively to average Americans who don't give a fuck about Iranians anyway, right? Like the average American doesn't care about what happens to the Iranian population. Okay? They don't. But when they see someone go, I am Iranian and I am celebrating that little babies were melted with American and Israeli weapons in my home country, they don't look at this and go, wow, this is great. I love that. Straight up. As far as the diaspora populations goes, I think Iranians do take the cake. Like they gotta be in the diasporoid Olympics. Like, who is the worst diasporoid? Straight up has to be Iranians. Like, no disrespect to the Iranian diaspora that's in my chat right now, but god damn, dude, it's worse. is worse than the Cubans, bro. How is that? Actually, I don't know. There is, it's heavy competition. Like, I am a diasporoid, okay? I am myself. And I can't go back to Turkey, okay? You guys know this. Some of you probably don't. There's a much larger audience in here, okay? I can't go back to Turkey. Turkey has no free speech. Turkey is very heavy in its prosecution and persecution of people who have spoken out against the state. I've written extensively back in the day at Huffington Post about the Turkish coup d'etat, okay? And I was critical of the government regardless, right? I was critical of the government, and I still am, and I haven't stopped being critical of the Erdogan regime. However, there has never been a moment in my life where I have felt the indignity in my soul of saying Turkey would be better off with an American puppet installed in its leadership. It is the most undignified, disgusting, worm-like behavior that I have ever seen. And for some weird fucking reason, there are so many in the Iranian diaspora, so many in the Cuban diaspora, so many in the Venezuelan diaspora that straight up think that this is the appropriate measure. It is disgusting to me. It is disgusting to me. It's heinous. It's heinous behavior. I'm telling you, my uncle died. I couldn't go back to my country that I grew up in to see his funeral. And if you think, in spite of all of that, when Israel comes out and says Turkey's next, if you think I'm not going to fucking say, fuck that shit, no matter how much I hate Erdogan, if you think I'm not going to fucking sit there and say, oh yeah, it would be much better if I could just go back to Turkey, see my fucking family, when Israel and America go and fucking blow up different Turkish installations and completely take over the country. That is disgusting. That is the most worm-like fucking behavior that anyone could ever engage in. It's disgusting to me. It's heartless. It's disgusting. It already happened in Turkey too. Fethullah Gülen is an American CIA asset, okay? And they were able to develop a parallel state in Turkey. They took over the courts. They took over the police. They took over the fucking military. And they tried to do a fucking coup d'etat, and it was very bloody. Turkish people died. They took over Turkish fighter jets, and they bombed Turkish soil, killing Turkish civilians. Those jets got refueled by Americans. Those jets took off from American military bases. Have you no fucking dignity? Have you no soul? How can you see your countrymen, your countrywomen die directed by the American state and then think this is somehow going to lead to a positive result? Insanity. It is disgusting. Maybe that's the reason why I'm so fucking rough on the diaspora populations in the United States of America that fucking beg for this shit. It disgusts me. Okay? Iran is disgusting as well, to be honest. No offense taken, we understand. At least the Cubans only went through this ordeal once. Us Iranians already fell for this propaganda once by reinstating the Shah's power and fell for it again with Khomeini. Now we fell for it again. Fool me once, twice, thrice. I'm Cuban, and I think it's about the same when it comes to bloodthirst. Some of my family members have said they would support the bombing of Havana if it meant the end of the Cuban government. They also support the current starvation in Cuba. Yeah, I don't understand it. Your brain is broken, dude. You have no fucking soul. You're heartless. You don't care about your fucking family members. You don't care about anything. You just want to extend your decades-long petty grievance, and you want to get a fucking W somehow. It is the most deranged behavior of all fucking time. Türklerde ideoloji ne olursa olsun bir vatan anlayışı ve savunma gereği var genel olarak. Diğer ülkelerde böyle bir şey çok görmüyorum. Sen de bunu söylüyorsun şu an. Evet, birazcık. I don't know what it is. I just don't understand it. Like, there are so many fucking Turkish people that despise me for recognizing the Armenian genocide, for saying that, like, Kurds deserve their own state. They're stateless. Now, to a certain extent, of course. I'm not in favor of a Kurdistan that looks like Israel, obviously. But, like, in spite of all that, in spite of all the shit that I eat from Turkish nationalists, from Turkish Islamists don't actually fucking hate me as much anymore because of my advocacy for the Palestinian cause, but from the Turkish nationalists, from Turkish liberals, okay? In spite of all of that, you will never see me defend intervention in Turkey. You will never see me defend intervention in the hands of America and Israel and Turkey. I will always stand against that. It is fucking disgusting. It blows my goddamn mind that people fucking sit there and celebrate this shit. Children are being slaughtered and they sit there and they celebrate it. It's nasty. Generalizing, but Iranian American interest groups are some of the most mobilized and have the most pull within their own community. If you've ever worked in public office, you'll be constantly harassed by MEK fronts, OIAC, and the Pahlavis. They will show up to your office and scream at you. They will call you 15 times a day. No one else even compares. I mean, the Israelis don't have to do that because they already have everyone on everyone's nuts in a vice grip. Given the option of an American puppet leading the country like Fethullah Gulen and Erdogan, I prefer Erdogan 100% of the time. Okay? 100% of the time. That's it. That's it. And I don't fucking like the guy at all. It's not even a question. It's not even a fucking question. It's disgusting. Fuck you. Okay. Sure. That clip will do numbers, lol. I mean, that's the common Turkish position, by the way. People whose family members have been thrown in fucking prison, people whose family members have been thrown in fucking prison in Turkey also have that position. There was a referendum that took place in the aftermath of the failed coup. And Erdogan changed the constitution. He seized more control over the government. He basically destroyed any kind of independence that the Turkish military could ever have. He extended his regime for another decade plus. He is at his weakest right now in this very moment. And even now, in his most ruthless, if there was an opportunity for Israel to do regime change in Turkey, I would stand by Erdogan's side every single fucking time. Okay? That's crazy. And I say this as someone who can't even fucking go back to Turkey, okay? I can't even go back to Turkey. And I say this, it's ridiculous. Erdogan is also an American puppet. Yes, that's also true. And even then, he at least has a little bit more sovereignty than a direct puppet that would be installed. Because at the very act of a coup d'etat, the implication there is that he is not as controllable as whoever they will put in charge. I think a lot of people to understand what it means to have sovereignty. A lot of people in the West don't understand because they've never had to encounter a much more powerful force coming in and ripping away their sovereignty. Okay? They don't get it. A lot of people in America don't understand what it's like to live under the thumb of a much more powerful fucking country. Breaking scene in Jerusalem right now from a direct hit. It looks like the Iranians have hit something very sensitive in Jerusalem. Jesus fucking Christ. That's a lot of EMTs, man. Holy shit. Turkey worked with the CIA to steer weapons to extremist proxies in Syria who were massacring the Kurds and others. He's already U.S. aligned. I know. You're not telling me something new, dummy. I've covered that extensively here. Turkey also played a formative role in toppling Bashar al-Assad. Okay? It doesn't matter because guess what? Now, Turkey's in the fucking crosshairs of Israel. Okay? Because they have too much influence in the region and Israel doesn't like that. So now they're saying, Naftali Bennett is coming out and saying after Iran is toppled, Turkey is next. Because there is an unlimited appetite here in Israel to destabilize every other country and dominate them, make everyone servile little piggies. When will the fucking Gulf nation states understand that like the nice contracts that you get and the development projects that you get from the West is not worth it? Can confirm with Tara Kopp and Alex Horton that the U.S. troops killed overnight were a sustainment unit deployed to Kuwait. According to two U.S. officials, one of them adds that they were in the army. Details previously were reported by NBC News. Bize vursunlar görecekler bra. İnşallah oraya gitmez.
A new Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey.
Bro, these guys are fucking monsters, dude. They're just fucking insane. I can't wait to hear from white Americans from Iowa tell me, oh, classic, Hasan hates Israel because of this. No, man, I hated Israel before this, okay? Long before this.
And Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the
Orospu
region.
çocuğu.
And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran.
Hayvan oğlu hayvan. Orospu çocuğu.
Erdogan is sophisticated,
Orospunun dölü.
dangerous.
Yetmedi yaptığı yetimler. Gazze'de yaptığı yetimler yetmedi. Türkiye'nin de anasını sikecek. İran'ın anasını sikecekler. Sonra Türkiye'nin anasını sikecekler. Az siktir lan.
And he seeks to encircle Israel. And while some senior Israelis were on Qatar's payroll, Turkey are nourishing the Islamic Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran.
This is when pedal hits the metal, okay? I mean, this is so far out in the future, but this is where this is where we find out, all of us collectively, whether this is actually a material thing, like imperialism, or if it's actually David Duke's theory of Zog, okay? Because as it stands, I don't think this is a serious threat, okay? Turkey is the second largest NATO army. Turkey has played an incredibly important role in America's imperial endeavors in the region. That's why America will always gift wrap the Kurdish militias after they're done using them for destabilizing initiatives. And then they tell the Turks, you can go bomb them if you want, do whatever the fuck you want, okay? If America were to be like, yeah, fuck NATO, we're gonna release the second largest NATO standing army so that Israel can go and, blow it up. And America will actually participate in the process when American nukes are inside of Turkish borders at the Incirlik base, okay? When there are already American bases in the country, all over the country, as a NATO nation, if Israel's interests supersede America's own personal interests, at that point, it's not, this is fully, we're just straight up doing Israel's bidding. Careful with the test rage, bro. Malding final boss. Cunty Mama 911. Are you talking to Naftali Bennett or me?
Turkey and Qatar are gaining influence not only in Syria, but also in Gaza, through the front door, and everywhere, and trying to create a new choke ring. Turkey is trying to flip Saudi Arabia against us and establish a hostile Sunni axis with nuclear Pakistan.
Manufacturing konsept yapıp bir 5-10 seneye biz de vurmaya ikna ederler gibime geliyor. İnşallah yanılıyorumdur. Yok abi öyle sike yapamazlar öyle bir şey bence. Has Turkey responded to this? It's kind of a wild thing to say all of a sudden. It's not new. They've been saying that. They've been signaling that Turkey's next after Iran for, months at this point. Yeah, NATO boosters are notably silent about these open threats against a NATO country. There are nukes in 7 different cities in Turkey. There are American nukes in 7 different cities in Turkey, bro. And Israel's like, we got to fucking take out Turkey. It's ridiculous. I think it's not happening. There's no shot. Having said that, if America was like, you know what, actually Israel's right, then there is no other theory. There is no other theory that makes sense. Okay? Because Iran is a foreign adversary. But when Israel gets to take out one of the most consequential foreign allies, it's no different than, at that point, it's literally like it's like Israel saying, we got to take out Lithuania, but worse. Because Turkey's significance in the Middle Eastern project for America is far more consequential than Lithuania or Estonia or even like fucking Poland. You know what I mean? At that point, it's like, all right, we're just straight up. This is the United States of Israel, like nothing else.
Absolutely quiet about the massacre of 40,000 innocent people. You kept quiet.
He's actually correct on the last part. There are new emerging blocks in Middle Eastern geopolitics after Iran has been sidelined. Turkey, Saudi, Pakistan are at odds with the Israeli UAE, and plus India as they vie power for in Sudan, Yemen, and Syria. This is replacing the former Saudi versus Iran rivalry that dominated since 1979. I know. That is inconsequential and insignificant. Even if it's correct, it doesn't matter because vassals like Turkey are supposed to make piecemeal out of all of the other non-aligned countries. Like that's the calculation on the American side has always been, yeah, all of these guys play ball with us, so they get to fucking do genocide in Yemen, or they get to do genocide in Sudan, right? That's the American calculation. Israel is mad about the extra attention and extra power that they're able to, fucking for themselves in the region, and they want to strike back. Turkey is a vassal state, but is very close to Russia. Yes, but that's the whole point of Turkey's existence. That's part of Turkey's significance in terms of its like foreign policy maneuvering for America. Because when push comes to shove, look at what the fuck they did in Syria. What are you talking about? Do you think that was at the behest of Russia? When they basically took out, when they played an incredibly important role in taking out Bashar al-Assad? You think Russia liked that? No, because Turkey is at the end of the day a servant of American empire. That's what I'm trying to say. That's precisely the reason why I'm saying this is when push comes to shove, where we find out if like Zog is real or not. You know what I mean? Because there would be functionally no reason to do such a thing other than being hit with like the Israeli hypnosis beam or something, or compromat, or whatever the fuck people think on that side of the political spectrum. Breaking. Initial reports of suspected UAV impact at British RAF Akrotiri Air Base in Limassol, Cyprus. Jesus Christ. Israeli singer Ofer Levy calls for Netanyahu to drop an atomic bomb on Yemen, Iran, and Turkey. Levi encouraged Netanyahu to start the last world war and that redemption is ahead. Bro, psychos, dude. Israel's really committed to turning Turkey into his new bête noire as the Ayatollah's grip on Iran gets looser by the minute. How America and Europe respond to this is how we know if NATO is really dead. This is from a couple days ago, before Ayatollah was dead. It's just a death cult. Like, why are we fucking being dominated by a complete psychopathic death cult, dude? Anyway, here is the Israeli peace negotiator Daniel Levy explaining Israel's creating chaos in the Middle East by attacking Iran. I gotta pee.
Iran is not close to Israel's neighborhood, and Israel has a national security doctrine of simply seizing the territory of the immediate surrounding states, and of course permanently seizing all of Palestine. What this is really about then is going to the next stage, and perhaps the defining moment in Israel's reach for regional domination, that all of the region will see that it must bend the knee, that the US is Israel, and that is omnipotent. The claim that this is to prevent a nuclear armed Iran is not credible. By the way, one of the things this almost certainly does is it guarantees nuclear proliferation, because everyone in the region now looks at how the nuclear armed bully Israel can act with another nuclear armed bully, America. Israel's bet is that with the US at its side, it can't be stopped. Not in this surge for regional domination, and not in its eradicationist war against the Palestinians. Israel is a dependent protectorate of the US. What's strange is, simultaneous to that, Israel can be the one calling the shots. Not that there isn't a camp for war in the US, but the strong, palpable sense is that it's hard to depict this as a US national interest. Israel is dragging the US into this. Israel plays fast and loose with US lives. This is
There you go. Literally, Israeli Jewish peace negotiator for Israel saying what I've been saying before all the fucking New York Times op-ed writers turn around and go, oh, this is, is this anti-Semitism? Like, what am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do if this is just like abject reality? It's not my fault that like this is just what it is. I'm sorry if your fucking feelings are hurt, or if, you feel threatened by an accurate reflection of what we are seeing and what is unfolding, but that's just the reality.
popular inside the US. This may be one of the reasons this doesn't go well for Israel.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military...
In June of 2025, President Trump apparently got a taste for sitting in that situation room, seeing the, as he depicts it, awesome destructive power of the American military. And the I'm not a war guy, I'm the peace president has subsided ever since.
Just imagine what it does it mean if someone wished to be judged upon early, like being suicidal and even taking others them, how it was that it's like they didn't read the New Testament and Quran, what? Would you ever consider leaving if the situation got bad enough? Maybe at least moving your family out? Where the fuck am I going to move? Yeah, let me go live in Turkey. Here, anyway. Lindsey Graham here, giving the game away, saying the quiet part out loud.
Social
Once
media
again.
post Sunday, President Trump wrote this, quote, hopefully the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Is hope the plan for the future of Iran?
No, the future of Iran is going to be determined by the Iranian people. The new Iran, whatever it is, whether it's a cleric or a representative democracy, our goal is to make sure it cannot become, again, the largest state sponsor of terrorism. That's a win for us.
But is there a plan to make sure that happens, Senator? Is there a plan? Does the president have a plan to guarantee that that happens?
No, it's not his job or my job to do this. How many times do I have to tell you? Our job is to make sure Iran is no longer the largest state sponsor of terrorism, to help the people reconstruct a new government, no boots on the ground. We don't own, you know this idea, you break it, you own it? I don't buy that one bit. It's in America's interest to make sure the Ayatollah is dead. He's dead.
There it is, baby. There it is. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a single solitary fuck about what happens to the Iranians. Okay, we killed your Ayatollah. We want a failed state. They're saying it. They're saying it out loud. The only problem, look, from the American perspective, if you want to understand the American foreign policy perspective, you want to know what the biggest fucking problem is for America's ambitions in Iran? Iran was the great fucking annihilator of ISIS-style groups. Okay? This presented a significant threat to America and Israel's interests in the region and all these other countries. That's number one. And number two, this meant that they couldn't create like a Salafist brigade internally in the country. That was the real issue here. And that's precisely the reason why they can't do this destabilization initiative, because they don't have popular fucking forces on the ground. That's it. That's why it's always laughable when dumb fucks in the chat will be like, oh, you love ISIS. Bro, which one is it? Do I love the Ayatollah or both? And I'm not exactly a big fan of either. Let's be real.
From Iran was deliberate, not least because we believe that the best way forward for the region and for the world is a negotiated settlement, one in which Iran agrees to give up any aspirations to develop a nuclear weapon. But Iran is striking British interests nonetheless, and putting British people at huge risk, along with our allies across the region. That is the situation we face today. Our partners in the Gulf have asked us to do more to defend them, and it is my duty to protect British lives. We have British jets in the air as part of coordinated defensive operations, which have already successfully intercepted Iranian strikes. But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request, to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk, and hitting countries that have not
Bro, Iran has never put British lives at risk. He's currently putting British lives at risk. Oh, he's such a fucking cuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Unimaginable. Like, cuckening to a degree that I previously thought was impossible to reach, okay? Oh, he's the cuck final boss. Yep, guess we gotta go wage war with Iran now. Incredible. Incredible, dude. Oh.
The basis of our decision is the collective self-defense of long-standing friends and allies and protecting British lives. That is in accordance with international law, and we are publishing a summary of our legal advice. We are not joining these strikes, but we will continue with our defensive actions in the region.
It's so funny because he's also constantly looking like he has a gun pointed at him, like off camera. And obviously that's not the case. He's like, you know, a willing servant, right? But he just has such bad vibes that it just looks that way.
And we will also bring experts from Ukraine together with our own experts to help Gulf partners shoot down Iranian drones attacking them. I want to be very clear. We all remember the mistakes of Iraq, and we have learned those lessons. We were not involved in the initial strikes on Iran, and we will not join offensive action now. But Iran is pursuing a scorched earth strategy. So we are supporting the collective self-defense of our allies and our people in the region, because that is our duty to the British people. It is the best way to eliminate the urgent threat and prevent the situation spiralling further. This is the British government protecting British interests and British lives.
I have a question. Israel is the most unpopular it's ever been in the Western world. Overwhelming majorities will see this as going out to defend Israel's interests. Their nationals' lives on the line to protect the needs of interest, protect the needs and interests of Israel. What do you think happens to Western liberal democracy when overwhelming majorities get so mad and so angry that they start taking matters into their own hands? Especially after 80 plus years of propaganda that dictated that this was also, Israel's interests were done for the Jews, to protect the Jews. What do you think happens at that point? Because now you're actually universalizing the pain. Now it's not even just like, oh, you need to shut the fuck up. If you say anything about Israel, you're anti-Semitic. Now you're like, if you don't die for Israel, you're anti-Semitic. What do you think happens in the Western world? These are such unimaginably short-sighted initiatives. They're acting like there's no tomorrow. Clip of the Iranian reply to Starmer.